My mother took me to the doctor. Doctor took one look in my eyes, turned to my mother and said, "That eye's got to be removed." I remember going in the operating room, seeing the doctors and all the instruments on the wall, the white coats and what have you, but that was my last vision.
Today, an estimated 1.5 million Canadians identify themselves as having sight loss.
So I was born with a condition called cone dystrophy. Because I was born with my condition, it's actually been the same way for the entire duration of my life.
It has been 4 years since I've been blind. I have a condition called as retinitis pigmentosa or RP. With that condition, the sight loss can happen at any point of time.
When I found out I was going blind, I was October of 2022. The results came back with this condition called LHON, and I'd never heard of it. It's super rare. I think it affects something like 1 in 100,000 people in the world.
My name is Glenn Wade. I'm president of the Ontario Blind Sports Association and former Paralympian a couple of times. No matter what the disability or the new situation you find yourself in, you may feel like you're alone at first, but there's strength in that realization that you're not the only one that's ever gone through this. Why try to figure it out on your own when you've got all this support around you that you can draw on?
My name is Emily Shavers. Currently, I play goalball, but previously I've also played curling and done gymnastics and some tandem cycling as well. So my cane is the other assistive device that I use on the daily, and it's gold and sparkly, just like me. I pretty much use it definitely every time I'm walking outside, and most of the time inside, especially when there's other people around. It just gives them also an identification that I maybe can't see them, and allows me to kind of move more confidently.
I use a screen reader on my phone, so I turned it on from the accessibility settings, and I can move on the screen with left and right swipes. I will swipe right and it will read out to me. When I want to select anything, I'll focus on it and I'll double tap. That's basically how I use technology on the phone. Hi, I'm Vapor. I'm legally blind and I'm an athlete. And the sports which I play include taekwondo, archery, running, and tennis.
My name's Nick Bullock. I'm 21. We're here at my house. This is my garage. It's kind of where I hang out. I do school in here, play video games. It's where I keep all my equipment and like old memorabilia that I have from like playing sports as a kid. I am a blind hockey player. I actually scored my very first blind hockey goal with this puck.
Blind Undefeated.
Goalball is a sport designed specifically for people who are blind and visually impaired, where there's 2 teams of 3, and you roll a ball with a belt in it back and forth between 2 teams to try and get it in a net. And players will lay on the ground to block the ball from going in the net. They are a little bit heavier than a basketball. They definitely start to feel heavier when you have been throwing them for hours on end. But when I play goalball, it is truly a surreal feeling because everybody's blindfolded. You're all on the same playing field. And just the community that it brings together of getting to meet other blind athletes has really been the reason that I keep playing.
Taekwondo is a South Korean martial art. It involves a lot of kicks and punches. So my Taekwondo instructor, Miss Newton, she is instructing Taekwondo for over 30 years. I'm a first student with a visual disability, so she had to change her method of instruction a little bit for me. She made it more verbal. Instead, she will tell me that you have to go left or right.
Now, coming forward, the right hand's going to go on top. Coming forward towards me. Hala!
So for the jumping high kick, I filled the bottom of the target. How high is it? And then I planned my kick.
Before I went blind, I had no idea that there was like a wide variety of ways that you can be visually impaired. I think it makes a big difference too when you're playing sports, or at least hockey, because you have to use the vision that you have to your advantage. Like some people can see really well through their central vision and can see when the puck's like on their stick. And then there's like people like me who use the peripheral vision where like I can see my teammates or other players like to the side of me. For some of us, like we can actually see the lines, so we're not going offside a ton. But it's definitely tough. Accidents happen. Like I've seen a couple bad injuries happen, but that comes with any sport, I guess. So how blind hockey's played is it's very, very similar to regular hockey. It's 5-on-5. The two biggest differences, I would say, are the puck, which is about 3 times the size of a regular hockey puck. And it's made of steel and it has ball bearings in it, so it makes noise, it rattles. And this allows blind players to pick up where the puck is with their other senses, like hearing. The other difference is the net is a foot shorter than a regular hockey net. It makes it easier for the goalies to stop the puck because the goalies are fully blind. So it just makes it a little bit harder to score.
Growing up, I really didn't see myself represented in sport or really ever felt like I could play alongside my peers when they were doing things like soccer and I would just get hit in the face with a soccer ball. There was nothing within 2 hours of me to be able to practice and get somewhere. And so when something like that comes up, just feeling defeated and feeling like, you know, that kind of lack of independence when you just can't do something for yourself makes it sometimes really challenging to want to still pursue something.
I was in India when the blindness struck me. I had like back-to-back high fevers, and I think one of the fevers actually triggered it. Basically, the time I realized that I need some help, COVID was already blooming up by then. So when I knew that I need help, I could not because everything was locked down. So it was a challenge. You're trying to understand what is happening, and sometimes it feels like a dream, and you will come out of the dream and everything will be fine. It's like somebody switches off a switch.
I played junior B lacrosse here in London where I live, and one game I took a hit to the head and had a bit of a concussion, and vision in my left eye started going blurry. And I was like, oh, well, this is probably just from the concussion. I went to see a doctor and he said, you have optic nerve damage. I was in a doctor's office with my family, my parents, and my girlfriend. I think having them there was more challenging than just being alone and finding out. It was like kind of knowing the heartbreak that they were going through as well was the hardest part.
Whenever you're going to move forward in life, if you're going to move forward, I think you have to know how to challenge and how to get beyond if obstacles, barriers pop up. And I think what the path to the Paralympics allowed me to do is figure out a lot of things along the way, a lot of things about how to get around or to move past certain barriers.
You look around at the banners in this gym, right? We have the Ontario women have won 14 straight national championships.
I was first introduced to goalball by my grade 6 teacher who loved being able to provide unique physical education opportunities to students. So he was the one who actually learned goalball and then brought it into our classroom to teach my entire class how to play. And that was really the first time I ever felt included in a sport. And so that was when I kind of knew that I didn't always have to sit on the sidelines and that I could have a place in sport.
I wanted to get out, going, sitting at home like after 5 o'clock. It wasn't really working every day. That's where I started going to sports and just figuring out which sports will really help me. I came to know that martial arts can be accessible as well. But I came in contact with people who teach Taekwondo and they were ready to try and take in feedback and make their practice more accessible.
Beforehand, like I was playing different sports at a pretty competitive level. They consumed a lot of my life, and like losing that competitive spirit and like the drive to be competitive at something was like a crusher for me. It was terrible. And finding like that activity that you can have that competitive edge in just gave me my confidence back.
That's it. So we will start at 2 o'clock. We'll be ready to go.
So in order to get to those big competitions, we also have some training camp opportunities, and one of which is the high performance camp, where we are tested on all of our skills and abilities.
It's exciting to be back on the court, especially when time can be so limited.
I am working on a lot of skills, but I'm especially working on my throwing. I love defending and getting hit by that ball and saving it from going in the net. But in terms of predicting where the ball is going to end up, you really have to rely, again, a lot on those other senses when you can't see. So really listening, but being able to pick up on the slightest things, even like somebody's footsteps, to know that they're moving, is really what it comes down to.
So today we are at the Pan Am Center, and here is the Newton's ITF Taekwondo Championship, and I'm participating today in the inclusive division. I'll be doing my pattern, which is Dangan, and also jumping high kicks.
Thank you so much for coming to our championship.
In Taekwondo, I'm getting that feeling that I'm not performing at the level I should be and where I was. It kind of can make you upset, it can make you nervous if you're nearing a competition. It can result in many different kinds of emotions.
We're here on a Sunday morning at the rink watching the Toronto Ice Owls play blind hockey. I'm super pumped to play this game, and I'm sure a bunch of my teammates are pumped as well. I was okay, a little nervous today. I've never played in front of cameras, but I think the nerves helped me out a little bit. I think every time you play, you always like nitpick yourself, and you never really focus on what you did well, you focus on what you want to do better next time. There's always somebody out there working harder than you are.
Probably the best part of being in the Paralympics was the path to get there, what I had to learn along the way. Learning the ability to challenge myself.
I think having my family support and knowing that they were going to help me pursue whatever dream I wanted at the time, having them to help problem solve and say, like, we're going to make this happen kind of no matter what it takes, is really the way that I've overcome anything.
My family supported me really well. My managers at my job, they supported me really well. That kind of support helped me adapt both in like my personal life and professional life.
My parents have done so much. They've been a role model throughout the whole thing with just like rolling with the punches. Like they've gone through it just as much as I have. If I could give back to them in any sort of way in the future, like I hope I can.
So far, the camp has been quite exhausting, but in the best way. I am the only girl training with 8 guys. A bunch of them threw up yesterday and I didn't, so I think I'm winning. It's exciting to be back on the court, especially when time can be so limited. It's nice to have a full 3 days of getting to be on the court.
Currently, I am working towards our next provincial competition, which will be in March of 2024. Then afterwards, potentially qualifying for the national competition where I can represent Ontario and play against the other provinces.
I'm holding the first position trophy for my patterns today, which I won. This feels special, especially the trophy for the jumping high kick, because I never won jumping high kick till date, and this was my first win in jumping high kick competition. Winning is not my goal. I participated in the competition because I wanted to enjoy the competition, the sport. Sports make me happy. They help me connect with people, and they help me enjoy being me. This will not be my last competition, of course. I'll continue practicing, continue training.
It was a pretty good game, high scoring. Don't see that many goals in one game usually. Yeah, that was my first ever blind hockey hat trick, +1, so felt pretty good. These adaptive sports have kind of given me that why and that purpose. They've given me something to look forward to, so I think they've really changed my life. I want to make Team Canada for blind hockey. I think going blind has actually opened more doors than it has closed, for sure.
I think for somebody who has just recently lost their vision, looking to find their place, I highly recommend getting involved in community activities, whether that is the blind community or even just finding a group of people where you feel like you fit in.
Try to maintain a positive attitude. You are learning a new style of doing a lot of things. So the things will not come to you overnight. Let the things sink in and do them slowly and give them their own sweet time.
If I can show other people that life's not over, like you can still do the things that you love to do and still like have such a sense of accomplishment after losing your vision, like I think that that's the most important thing for me. Just seeing that like other people's success stories and like that life is going to be okay 20, 30 years from now and it's going to be perfectly normal. You can have a family, you can have a successful career. Like that really goes a long way.
If you've thought about something you want to do, don't try to figure out the perfect way or figure it all out on paper before you get out there and do it. It's okay to jump in even though you don't have it all mapped out. Just do it. Get out there, be active, don't overthink it, and be your best.
Emily won silver at provincials for goalball. She continues to train in her pursuit of Paralympics. Vipev continues to train in Taekwondo to eventually obtain his black belt. Nick continues on his journey to make Team Canada for blind hockey.